So, folks, today I'm going to read this too because I have it
Give
written up.
me a great intro.
Yeah, I have it written up pretty good. Okay, so today I'm going to, like I said, I'm not even going to act like I'm not reading this. So, okay, today we have on an inspiring individual that absolutely loves the outdoors. She's completed the PCT, Colorado Trail, Tahoe Rim, and Wonderland Trail, along with incorporating a ton of other outdoor activities such as mountaineering, stand-up paddleboard camping, which is something I want to ask you later.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. And then also snowboarding. And so you may know her from her big, awesome smiles on her Instagram page. So welcome to the podcast, Jamie Lambert.
Oh, that was amazing. Thank you.
Yes. Well, we're so happy to have you on here. And, you know, you were telling me this is your first podcast you've ever been on, which is pretty incredible to me because I feel like you're a very good communicator. So we'll see how this one goes, right? We'll see if you ever want to go on one again.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. So how's it going up there in Washington? You were talking a little bit beforehand. You just got off of work, I think, right?
Yeah, got off work. Got to leave a little bit early, which was nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. The weather's been pretty toasty.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to climb Hood. I think I was telling you I was supposed to climb Hood this past weekend, but with the weather conditions and snow melt, it was just not really safe conditions. So we just decided, we'll just wait for another time. So my best friend and I, we actually just went up to Mount Rainier and just kind of worked on our crevasse rescue skills. And I mean, anytime that you spend out on the mountain, it's just, I'm happy to be out there, whether I'm climbing or just hanging out or I'm eating lunch. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just sunshine in a mountain.
Yes. I was gonna ask you about that crevasse rescue training. So do you have some objectives coming up? Have you done Rainier, or is that something on your list?
I've attempted it. So I attempted it 2 years ago. So it was just, one of those group efforts. So me and two other girls, I think we made it almost to 12,000 feet. And then it was just kind of altitude started to kick in, and it was just like, okay, I don't want to call it, but unfortunately in this sport, like, you have to be smart and really safety is number one. So it's just, we ended up calling it and we turned around, but you know what? Like, just to be able to camp on a glacier for 3 days, it's just
nice.
It's amazing. So we ended up, just hanging out and enjoying the views. And last year we were going to do it again, but then just weather conditions again. So hopefully this year is our year. So it's just, that's awesome. The big one we're shooting for. So, I mean, ideally I would like to climb all of the 5 mountains here in Washington. So
we have, can you name them? Which ones are they?
We got Adams, Rainier, Baker, Glacier Peak, and Helens.
Oh, dang. I haven't done Glacier Peak. That was one I wanted to get done before I left.
Yeah, I know. I'm stoked. But the only thing with Glacier Peak is it's just a really long approach. Like, there's 2 different ways to go into it, but it's like a full day just to get to the base of the mountain. So, but that's pretty much kind of like my backyard. So it's nice that it's close. But yeah, I've already done Adams. I've done Helens 3 times. And then I did Baker 2 years ago. So really all I have is Rainier and Glacier Peak. But kind of the main goal was like to do it all in one summer. So that was ideally the goal. But you know what? At this point, I'm like, if I just get the other 2, I've completed all 5, and I'm completely happy with that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I think is really cool about you is you have thru hiked a lot before. We'll get into that a little bit later. But you also are involved in a lot. Like, you're not just a thru hiker. You like to do all these other things. It's basically, as long as you're outdoors, it's cool with you, it seems like.
Yep. Yeah. All of the I don't know, I kind of have like that personality, like I just want to do it all. Like, you know what? I might not be amazing at everything, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to be able to do it all. So it's like, if I get invited somewhere, hey, you want to go do this? Sure, I can do that. Like, this past winter, I mean, I told myself, I was like, oh, I'm not going to do rock climbing, not really my sport, but it's just like the winter blues roll around. I need something to do. Like, I'm kind of going stir crazy. I need something new. And so yeah, my best friend and I was like, I don't know, let's just go indoor rock climbing. I was like, I'm not gonna outdoor rock climb. Well, guess what I ended up doing this spring? It's like, so I just want to do it all.
Dude, it sounds exactly like me. I literally, the first time I ever started bouldering, one of the instructors he's like, man, you should like go outdoor rock climbing with me. I'm like, absolutely not. Like maybe
not my
bucket list thing for a skydiving, but I said absolutely not. And then I'm just climbing yesterday I'm climbing all day. It's like
just casually.
Yeah, but you're right. Do you feel like it opens up like just brand new, like it just opens up brand new things that you wouldn't have otherwise done?
Right. Well, I think also too, like just being in the outdoors so much, it's like I've just gained so much confidence in myself and my ability to be like, yeah, I can do that. Or yeah, I can try that. And so it's like I don't really have this fear of trying something new. And so I think that's kind of like with the rock climbing. It's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, I'll try it. And then it's like it just turns into like, oh my gosh, that was really fun. Like I want to keep doing that. Or it's just and I just really enjoy like learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's something again I like about you is you have like this growth mindset, right? Like you're not afraid to try something new, be bad at it at first. I'm still bad at rock climbing. I mean, this is only like my second year outdoors, but I get it. Like the first time you ever go rock climbing outdoors, you're absolutely just terrified pretty much the whole time, right? It's just oh my gosh. So
well, and that's kind of where I'm at with like mountaineering too, in a sense of like, okay, I mean, I know the basics, and that's what we did with this last weekend was just like, hey, let's go practice our rope skills. So kind of also coming full circle is, we started rock climbing to get comfortable with using the ropes and tying our knots. And like me and my best friend, it's like, okay, the communication that we have between the two of us, okay, we can communicate when we're rock climbing, but we can also communicate when we're on the mountain. And, if we're ever in a situation where we need to be rescued, it's like, okay, let's stay calm and walk ourselves through this. So so just being able to go out like this past weekend, and it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like there's a few times we had to YouTube, okay, wait, how do we tie this knot, or how do we do this, or how do we that? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but at least I'm trying. You know what? It's like just getting comfortable with figuring it out. Is what we do. I'll figure it out.
So okay, you know where would you agree with me with this? I think you may one thing that may have helped that, because I feel like that's a big skill that thru hikers get, is they have to be problem solvers. Right. And the same goes with ultra running. That's where I've like learned problem solving is through hiking and ultra running, where you have no other option really, because you're either too far from a road, too far from safety, whatever, or too far from an aid station, that you have to just figure it out. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what you do. You just have to figure it out. Do you feel like, because again, so we talked about Jamie's done the PCT, CT, Wonderland, TRT, all of that. Do you feel like you've learned some good problem skills from that, or how do you think that's gone?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think just even the mindset of like, I don't know, I'll figure it out. Like, it just kind of just taking every situation as it's handed to you and just having the mindset of like, okay, I'm just going to figure it out as I go along. And even coming down to like, just being like MacGyver. It's like, okay, this is what's in front. This is what's presented in front of me. All right, this is what I have. How do I make this work?
Right.
So it's like, I mean, it's even like come full circle into like my everyday life. I'm like, okay, so like this is what I have for dinner. Okay, I can mix this and this together. And I mean, even in my job too, it's just like everything. I feel like there's so many things with the thru hiking lifestyle and what I've learned in the outdoors that it's the mindset of like, oh, I'll figure it out.
Dude, so
it's honestly my answer to everything.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
I hope everybody really caught what she's saying there, because that gave me the chills. Because I when you definitely bring that back into everyday life, right? Like my most recent example of this would have been, so obviously everybody knows that I had a girlfriend, whatever. But anyway, we moved to Wyoming, right? But we kind of got catfished in this apartment. The apartment existed, but it was essentially a trap house. It's pretty much what it was. It was really bad. Didn't look that way through the pictures. And it was interesting because we almost kind of had like two different reactions to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was just, okay, this is what we have. We'll figure it out. Like we're
Right.
not gonna be here forever type of thing.
Right.
And I won't go into all of her whatever, but and I was kind of because I've been journaling lately too, like every night, which is really interesting for me because I never thought I would do that. But I did. I remember writing down in my journal, I was like, I just feel like because I've thru hiked and I've done all this really tough things, that it puts other things into perspective for me. It's
Right.
like, okay, we have a roof over our head. It's like not like we're gonna die type
Right.
of thing.
I've
And we
got
can
running
figure it out.
water.
We have clean water and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is there anything like is there any like examples like that for you where that like pop out in real life? That might be putting you on the spot. That should have been maybe a question I should have gave you beforehand. But like maybe just like a generic example, like where that comes up that's helped you.
Nothing that's really like comes to the top of my mind, but I think just like my lifestyle is just kind of that whole like sometimes I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just going to figure it out as it goes along. And I truly believe everything happens for a reason, but just I try not to put stress on like the little things. I'm like, okay, this is not, I don't need to worry about this right now. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just the way that I kind of view life and like my whole mindset is like, it is what it is and I'll figure it out somehow.
Yeah.
So
What I love how you said MacGyver. That's exactly what it is. Just you MacGyver it together somehow. You just make it freaking work, man.
yeah. It's like, okay, here's what's presented in front of me and yeah, this is what I got. So I'm gonna just figure it out. And
yeah,
I think it really like that's kind of how my lifestyle has been ever since the PCT. I mean, granted, I went on the PCT, and I mean, I knew nothing really about backpacking. Like I went on a few like overnighters, 1 or 2 days here and there, and it was like just kind of ready for a big change. And the fact that I had my little sister to do it with me, it was like, we don't really know what we're doing, but guess what? We're just going to get on trail and we're going to figure it out. And that's exactly how the whole trip went. It was just like, okay, just take it, week by week. And then it was like, okay, as the weeks went by, then it was like another 100 miles went past and then another 100 miles. And then it's like, next thing you know, you're hitting these like iconic marks of like, okay, you just made it to 500 miles. And then it's, you're entering the Sierras and then it's the halfway point and then you're done with California. So it was just kind of figuring out as we go along.
Yeah, you almost took it bit by bit, kind of, and figured it out that way instead of looking at it the whole thing in its entirety, which I feel like would probably wig a lot of people out.
It does. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, I have this far to walk, or granted, there was times we'd look at the map and it's like, oh my gosh, I've only gone this far and this is how much further we have to go. But it's like in the grand scheme of it, it's, when I explain kind of the trail to friends or family that have no idea, it's like, I mean, you take it like 3 to 5 days at a time. It's like, okay, think about it as these short little backpacking trips. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to break it up into these small sections and just kind of go with it. And next thing you know, you're going to make it all the way to Canada. So it's just but it was hard though in the beginning because, I felt like we were not, sometimes it's kind of like you're not keeping up with the rest of the group. It's like, okay, you're hiking with someone and then, oh my gosh, they pull far ahead. And it's like, how come I'm hiking so much slower than them? Or like you're starting to have injuries that happen a little bit quicker. But in the long run, it's like, it's not a sprint. It's just a marathon. Like just go at your own pace. This is your own journey and you can make it however you want to. So I'm pretty grateful that I got to do it with my little sister. I mean, I learned a lot and yeah, I definitely miss it. I'm ready to be back out there.
Yeah, that was gold. I hope people, that's going to have to be a clip that I put up on Instagram right there explaining that. That was gold. I love that. So yeah, you talked about, so you did the whole PCT with your sister. That's pretty cool. Like you don't really see that.
No,
you don't really hear about that much, right? So how was that experience? And are you guys planning then future throughs together?
So it was great. I mean, let's just say we made it through California without wanting to murder each other.
Right.
And then once Oregon hit and it was like, we were putting in, I would say we cruised through Oregon, I think in about 16 days. So we were doing about 33 to 35 miles a day.
Awesome.
So you start doing these longer days and it's like, okay, we're tired. Like we're exhausted. and we've been literally together for the last 3 months, like 24/7. Like her and I, we had very similar hiking like patterns. So it's like we constantly were hiking next to each other. We shared a tent, right? So it's just like you can only imagine two sisters. It was great. And then Oregon hit, and it was just like the littlest things. We kind of just started to bicker and argue and get on each other's nerves. And with the long days, we were tired and just being hangry. You know, you say things that you don't mean. And it was just, so we kind of started to bicker a little bit in Oregon. Washington hit, and it was like, okay, we kind of made amends. And yeah, there was definitely some parts of the trail which you would expect sisters to do. Like, you know, we would fight and argue. And so it's like kind of thinking back to those moments on the trail, and it's like, okay, maybe not my proudest moment, or maybe I shouldn't have said the things that I did. But after finishing the you know, her and I kind of took some time apart, kind of process like what we just did. And then coming full circle, it's, you know, we talked about it like, hey, this is kind of how you made me feel, and this is the way I was feeling. And we actually went out to those sections where maybe we didn't have the greatest memory of, and we redid them. So we kind of like recreated this new memory of maybe a section where it's like we were having an off day, or we got in an argument or a fight. And so yeah, we definitely kind of made up for it. But a whole overall experience, like I'm so grateful I was able to do it with her. Like it's definitely, we'll have that to look back on for the rest of our lives, and, you know, laugh about those little things or those little moments that like no one else understands but her and I do. And so it was a great experience, but it was very challenging, especially she's my little sister too. So it's just like,
right.
I love you, but I hate you right now.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Well, the fact that you guys actually went back to those sections and rehiked, that shows some character right there. Just,
yeah.
I don't know. That's really cool. I never would have thought about doing that, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's one section in particular where, you know, we were coming through, it was like Mount Adams. So we were hiking from Trout Lake to White Pass. And I remember there was one section, like we're standing on the trail, like Mount Adams is right there, like so beautiful. But I just remember her and I just like screaming and yelling at each other about something probably so stupid. And it was just like, yeah, it was ridiculous. And I don't even remember what we were arguing about. And it was just like, okay, we got to camp, and like her and I didn't talk. Like it was just like we went a day and just kind of needed our space. And so that one particular section in general is like, all right, we need to like go back down to Mount Adams and like redeem ourselves a little bit. So we went back probably like 2 years later. We ended up climbing the mountain together. So it was like, okay, we just kind of like wiped the slate clean a little bit from that screaming sesh that we might have had on trail to let's go climb the mountain. So yeah, just trying to find new memories, new experiences. Maybe weren't so great at the time.
Yeah. So, well, that's awesome. And you guys are right in there by, you guys are, I mean, you said you were near Snoqualmie Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So that's, for people that are listening, that's kind of where, I mean, it's not the North Cascades, but it's like central, would you call it?
So I'm more in like central Washington. It's technically what it's called, but it's Snoqualmie Pass is pretty much the 2,400 mile marker from PCT. Oh. So you're like less than 200 miles away from the Canadian border. And really from Snoqualmie Pass up to the border, it's like you talk to a lot of hikers, and that's like the most beautiful section of like the whole PCT. I mean, granted, every section has their own beauty, and you know, nothing can compare to the Sierras but like, yeah, from Snoqualmie Pass up to the border, it's just, it's beautiful. And I'm truly grateful that it's like literally my backyard, and I can hop on trail anytime I want. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah, I always say that the North Cascades National Park is the most underrated national park in the U.S.
It's so pretty. Yeah.
It blows my mind that I didn't really know about it either until about 3 years ago, really. And I had lived in Oregon for 9 or 7 up to that point or whatever. But it just...
Have you done a lot of hiking in the North Cascades?
Yeah, so we've done some bulgers and stuff, and all the major Cascade volcanoes and things like that. But not as much as I'd want to, because I mean, it was like a 6-hour drive for me. I mean, it's not.
Yes, and that's for me. It's like I want to get up and I want to hike those areas, but yeah, it's such a far drive. Like even for like a day hike or a weekend, it's like, oh my God, it's a haul.
Dude. And then you got it. Yeah. And for me, it was, you had to go through Portland and Seattle. And it was just like,
Yeah.
no, not, it was just, I would record myself. I'd be like, this is why I'm moving out of here. Because like,
Yes.
because you know how it goes, like, well, maybe you don't, because you don't, maybe you don't want to move. But I was always like, dude, every time the winter would come, I'd be like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. But then summer would come and it would be gone. And then I'd be out doing stuff. Right. And then I would forget. So I would record myself to remind myself like
why I need to leave.
I need to move. Yeah. Now you touched on actually earlier in the episode here, you talked about some winter blues, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have my own experience with winter blues, but I would love to hear what do you do for your winter blues? Because I gotta imagine that you're probably similar to me where I get super just depressed, unmotivated, just
yes.
pissed.
I'm just gonna sit on the couch and feel sorry for myself, and it's like, I just kind of go in this like downhill spiral, and then it's like, okay, the weather's nice, I could go do something, but I don't have energy. I really don't want to. I would rather just sit here on the couch and binge watch Netflix or something, and then it's just losing that motivation but wanting to exercise and wanting to get outside, and so it's just. I mean, up here in Washington, it's like, we have great days, but it's also super dark and rainy, and it can definitely take a toll on your mental health. And so
For sure.
For me, I had a winter probably about 3 years ago. I injured my knee. So it was like I couldn't really go out and do anything. So it was like I was constantly inside and just, kind of losing interest in the outdoors. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a season's pass. Like I'm going to buy, So I ended up buying the Icon pass because I'm like, okay, I want to travel. I want to snowboard. I get out of this funk. And so, the last 2 years I, bought my Icon pass, and it's been great because I've been able to travel and snowboard, but then also on the days where the weather isn't great, it's like, okay, what can I do besides snowboarding that can still keep me moving and motivated? And so that's when I, started rock climbing, just for fun, just to like do something new out of my comfort zone. And just on those days where the weather was I could at least be inside and do something. So
well, again, and that's like the cool thing about having these different skills in the outdoors. It allows you to then go and get an Icon pass because you know how to snowboard. So now you can go do that. Like you said, I didn't really think about it that way, but you could go, because isn't that for a bunch of different resorts or something, or how does that work?
Yeah. So it's nice. So like up here in Washington, Snoqualmie Pass is on it, which is convenient for me because it's literally 30 minutes from my house. Not my favorite resort. Once again, it's the convenience of getting outside and doing something. But then there's Crystal Mountain, Bachelor's on it. So I'd go down to Bachelor, Schweitzer. But then there's a bunch, I think, like Tahoe and Mammoth.
Dang. Okay.
I don't know all of the resorts that are on it, but for me, it's like, I don't want to be like restricted and limited to going to one resort. Like I enjoy traveling somewhere and, staying in an Airbnb or a hotel or camping or whatever it is to go and experience a new mountain. So that's what's been appealing to me about the Icon Pass is the fact that I'm like not restricted to one spot and I can just kind of hop from here to there. Where's the weather going to be great? And it's not great here. And I can drive somewhere else. So, and that's with like Oregon and Schweitzer. It's like, it's all within maybe 4 or 5 hour drive. So it's not absolutely terrible. So I mean, it's been great over the last few years, and I'll probably continue to buy one just so I can stay busy and keep snowboarding.
I love that actually. Cause I've been a very staunch opponent against resorts ever since I got my split board.
Yeah.
Probably because I hate paying resort fees, but a pass would be better because I mean, it's like $120 to go to Hood.
It's insane.
Freaking 6 hours. I'm like,
I know.
Even
the prices are ridiculous, but that's also the way that I can justify paying for the Icon passes because so I think when I bought it, it was like before prices went up, it was roughly like, let's say $1,100, right? I know it sounds like a lot, but you get a week at Bachelor, you get a week at Snoqualmie, you get a week at Crystal Mountain. I mean, Crystal's like $150, $160 a ticket. It's like their prices are insane. So when you think about like a full week at these resorts, like if you really are constantly going snowboarding, it's, for me, it's worth the money.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, I mean, it gets you to travel other places, which
right.
helps with some of those winter blues. Because I think for myself, I'm just stuck at home every day. I mean, I'm still being active. I'm still working. I'm still in my routine.
Right.
It's just I'm not meeting new people. I'm not getting out anywhere. If you're only split boarding, it's got to be the right Avi conditions. So even if it's a sunny day, like even the Avi conditions might suck. So you're inspiring me to pick up a pass. Now that I'm like 2 hours away from Steamboat and all these winter park and stuff now.
Well, and that's the thing is there is, a bunch of resorts in Colorado. So my little sister just moved to Colorado,
nice.
About a year ago. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I got a place to stay. It's on my Icon Pass. Like once again, I can travel and go to these resorts because it's part of my pass. And you know what? I'm going to take full advantage of it. And so, I mean, it's great. I mean, I would definitely recommend looking into it if that's something that you want to travel and explore new resorts. And so it's fun. I enjoy it.
That is gold. I hope, I hope the audience, we went off on a little tangent there, but hey, I think that people will get value out of that because of the fact that, I mean, a lot of people like us, when you're involved in the outdoors and winter hits, you know that it's every year. I know it's going to be tough and I got to figure out something to do. Thank God I got into split boarding. Because if I didn't have that, I didn't. Although I do jujitsu more in the winter, I guess. But yeah, just being outdoors, you can't match it.
Yeah. To me, it's like I can't put a price tag on like my mental health and the way that I'm feeling.
Totally.
It's like I don't care really what it costs. Like I don't want to ever feel the way that I felt that one winter when I was just sitting around and in that constant downhill spiral and just not finding. I'm like, I don't feel like myself. This isn't me. Like, and I know this isn't me. So it's like, how do I dig myself out of it? So yeah, you know what? I have to pay a pretty penny, but you know, to me, it's worth it. So.
You're giving me the chills again. So one thing, because that's what I've noticed since I've moved here. And of course, when I move here, it just goes, you know how the PNW goes, by the way, it goes from spring, rain.
Yeah.
Boom. And then it just like a bomb drops and it goes to summer. And then it never stops until the fall, basically. Right. So I moved the day that it switched. Boom, it switches, right? And I was so mad because there was a line off of Mount Hood I wanted to split board, the Y East face on Hood. And I'm like, dude, of course. I like was planning this line for a month before we moved.
Oh no.
Never would the weather work out, right? But then the day whatever. So anyway, I get to here and man, I have just had so much more energy because of the sun and like waking up with the sun. And so what I was thinking about, because I was listening to these podcasts, again, I'm going down a way large rabbit hole here, but I feel strongly about this. So I was listening to this podcast about like the benefits of sunlight and all that. And not only sunlight and vitamin D, but like also infrared light. So when you feel it getting hot, even if you're wearing a shirt or something, if you feel it getting hot, like that's infrared light and that's good for you. And all of the hormones that it helps with, right? But one of the things they said for like the winter, and I had heard of these, but I didn't really think about much of them. But you know those like sun lamps or whatever you can get? You can get ones that are an alarm clock, essentially. So it's like how you would wake up on the trail or in the summer where the sun is beaming in your face pretty much. Right? So essentially what this alarm clock does is it just slowly like ramps up light, like lumens. Slowly until like you get enough cortisol from it or whatever. And then you wake up naturally. And I was like, I think I'm going to get one of those this next year. That and then a pass. So anyway.
Well, for me, it's like when I sleep, and I mean, this maybe comes from trail too. It's like, I have to cover my face. Like I'm like my eyes, I'm like, I need it like pitch black. Cause like when I was on trail, like I used to sleep with my hat and my buff over my eyes. I'm like, I don't know if it's like the pressure or once again, the light comes in or the moon is so bright. I'm like, oh my God, I need to sleep.
Dude, people don't understand a freaking full moon on trail. It's like literally someone's shining a flashlight in your freaking tent, dude. It's like,
I know. It's terrible. I'm like, God, go away. My little sister, she used to call her buff her moon shield. So it'd be like, so we'd be cowboy camping and it's like so bright. And it's just like, okay, pull your buff down over your eyes. It's too bright. And then also it's great because it holds your earplugs in. You ever sleep with earplugs?
Oh, biggest hack ever.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I need my Tylenol PM in my earplugs, and then I'm good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and also it's nice. It's like hold your earplugs in and put the moon shield down.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. I love the name Moon Shield. I freaking love that. That's so true.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, so awesome. So, one thing you were talking about too when we were messaging was your CT experience. And you said that we may have had like similar experiences. So what makes you say that, and what was your experience like there?
Oh my gosh, the thunderstorms for one.
That's what I thought.
It's like, oh my gosh, it was like clockwork. I mean, coming from the PC, so I did the PCT in 2018 and then the Colorado Trail in 2019. And it was like my first solo through hike by myself. I was like, okay, I kind of gained this experience and this knowledge from the PCT. I'm going to go out and do this trail. I'm like, okay, it's only 485 miles. Shouldn't be that hard. I can do this.
Right.
I get on trail and it was like a slice of humble pie. I'm like, how come I can't do 20 miles? Like I am dying out here. Like I feel like I can't breathe. I can't catch my breath.
Dude.
And then all of a sudden, you learn about thunderstorms out there and it's like clockwork. I had like not really knowing what to expect. And it's like, oh my gosh, my first night, I was completely alone, like no hikers around me. And it was like one of the biggest thunderstorms I've been in my entire life. And I'm like sitting in my tent, like, why am I out here? What am I doing? It's like, I think only like day 4, day 5, like, do I really want to continue like this? And but once I kind of figured out, like, okay, they kind of hit anywhere from like 1 o'clock. They usually last until about 3, 4. So it's like, I had to really kind of gauge and, figure out my days and, okay, maybe I have to get up and hike a little bit earlier. And no, I'm going to take a break for 4 hours while this storm passes. But I think I saw a video of you like literally running from a thunderstorm. And that was exactly me. I think it was at Hope Pass. I can't remember what pass it was, but it was like, there was like 3 different thunderstorms like coming in from every direction. And I'm like, I just need to make it up and over this ridge to the tree. So I'm just going to book it. And I'm like running and I can't breathe. And I'm like lightning is striking all about my head. And I'm like, oh my God, this is where I'm going to die. Like my mom would hate me right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Dude, people, I know, man. Dude, the CT was freaking wild, right? I mean, but that goes back to your adaptability. I saw, it was like my 3rd day on trail and I was seeing people booking it back opposite my way and they were quitting. I was like, what are you guys doing?
No.
They're like, dude, can't handle the thunderstorms.
Oh, challenge accepted.
I get it. Yeah. I was like, but like you said, I mean, you literally painted a great picture there. You were like, okay, yeah, I figured out the pattern was they came at 1, ended at 3, 4. And then sometimes you get those freaking one-offs at night though, that would totally catch you off. I had one when I was in the high country at 13,000 feet, literally in the wide open. And I'm just like, dude, why is it midnight right now? Why is it? I was so pissed. I'm like, get me out of here. Like,
this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, totally.
Did it rain every day for you? Or did you have at least some good weather?
Pretty much nearly every single day. Yeah. I mean, I was in the heart of monsoon season. I didn't know what monsoon season meant until I got there. But people were saying that year they were longer thunderstorms. They're like, yeah, it's not really typical that it was getting this long of thunderstorms, but so they would last a few hours, but it's gnarly. I mean, yes, humble pie when you're trying to run from a thunderstorm to get to lower ground right.
You're like, oh my God, am I really this out of shape? Like, how come I can't breathe? I can't catch my breath. And
totally.
What month did you do it in?
So I started June 30 and then basically ended July 22. So it was basically through July. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that makes sense because I mean, think about that. we never get thunderstorms in the PNW ever.
No.
Not like that. I mean, if you get a thunderstorm once a year, people are standing outsides like ooh and eyeing, right?
I know. This is
And so
great.
I'm guessing on the PCT you really never had to. There was not too much. Maybe some rain, but I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
really, we had rain like once we hit home here in Washington. It's like, okay, we already know, we expect this, but it's like, yeah, we never really had thunderstorms like that. And yeah, once I was out in Colorado, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like a whole new element that I am like completely caught me off guard. But once again, I'm here for it. Okay, how do I figure it out?
Yeah.
Timing my day and my miles. And I did the trail. I started September 1st. So I did mine a little bit later. Wow. So definitely it was cold. So I mean, my days, it was hot during the day, but then the nights, oh my God, it got so cold. So I remember there was one night in particular. It was just like, okay, it's 80 degrees, completely sunburnt, sweating, and I wake up and like everything, my water bottles are completely frozen. Like it's just like the weather changes so quickly.
Right.
But I finished the trail, I think, in like about 3 weeks. I think I finished around like September 22nd or something.
Yeah, so you did about the same time I did. So you were booking it too then. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. It was just kind of like, I just kind of got in that mindset of like, okay, I'm going to do this trail. I'm going to finish it. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not poking around here. Like I just kind of want to put the miles in and get done because it's getting cold. So
yeah. Now, how you said so PCT was with Sis. This one was solo. So what did you think going solo?
I mean, I was ready for it because it's, being on the PCT, it was, like I said, it was great to have my little sister, but like I was also kind of ready to find like my own independence of like what I'm capable of being on trail by myself. So this was like the perfect amount of time, the perfect amount of money. I was able to get the time off of work, and it was like, okay, I got 3 weeks off. Like, what can I do in 3 weeks? And it's like, okay, I know I can do it. And it's like, I'm by myself. And so it's just kind of like the next challenge for me. It's just like, okay, what can I do as a single female by myself out on this trail? And so, yeah, I mean, I did it, and I actually ended up meeting another girl. She was out there by herself. So we kind of finished the trail together. I mean, granted, we kind of had our different hiking styles and everything, but it was just like, you know how it is. You just meet so many amazing people out there, and you get to chat, and then, I'm by myself, she's by herself, and it's like, hey, let's just hike together. And I remember the Colorado Trail was the first time I ever slept in a pit toilet.
Oh, did you?
I did. It was okay. In my defense, it was super clean. Like you open up the door and it's like, it smelled like someone just cleaned it. And it was like, all right, I guess this is where we're sleeping tonight.
Wow.
Only because there was another storm that rolled in. So
really,
gosh, what was it? Was it,
dude?
I don't remember the town. It's like, it's been so long. I'm like, okay, if I look back at pictures, I'm sure I could remember, but it was like maybe 5 or 6 p.m. and like we were hoping to get a hitch into town, but like there were no cars. Like it was completely dead, and it was hailing so hard. Like it was like pelting you and leaving marks. And it was like, oh my God, this hurts. And we're not going to sleep outside in this. And so her and I, we bunked up in this pit toilet.
Dude, I feel like that's a through hike rite of passage. I haven't done it yet.
I know.
But I have like told people that I've taken hiking and stuff. I'd be like, yeah, through hikers actually will like sleep in these, and they just can't fathom it, right?
I
can't really fathom it either, to be completely honest with you. But good for you.
Until you're in a situation where you're just like this is what I need to do. It's warm. And like I said, it was very clean. Like some of them you walk in and you're like, no chance. But like this one, it was like, it almost smelt like someone put like Febreze or something in it. It was very clean. So anyways, we bunked up, and throughout the night, what was funny is like you could hear cars kind of like pull up and like kind of drive away because like we left our backpacks out to be like, hey, it's occupied in here. Like, I'm sorry if you need to use the bathroom, but we're camping in here.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I have so much respect for you, actually. I totally respect that. That
was the one and only time I've ever done it though, but it was on the Colorado Trail.
You got it. Look, problem solving. That's it. You got a
You
problem.
do what you got to do. You do what you got to do.
You do what it teaches you.
And
Now,
then,
okay, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say your rash that you got.
Oh,
what was that?
I don't know what it was.
Okay, because I got the same exact thing all over my legs, like all over my thighs on the inside. I got it on the top of my hands and then on my ears.
Yep. Yeah. Shut up.
I don't know what. I don't.
Did you really?
I think it was. Yeah.
No.
So I think it was. So the girl that I was hiking with, I believe her mom was a nurse or something, and so she called her because she started to get it a little bit on the top of her hands. And she was like, "Hey, Mom, what is this?" And I think it was like some form of like sun poisoning, what it was. But I don't know. I could be wrong because
somebody else.
But it was all over.
Kind of said that too. I was wondering because I cowboy camped my first night because the first night I got dropped off at like 5 p.m. from Denver from my buddy, and then I just hiked kind of outside of Waterton Canyon a little bit.
The longest road walk ever.
Yes, exactly. And so I finally get to the trees there, and of course I think I'm hot, and I go cowboy camping, right? Because it's not gonna rain.
No,
that first
not
night,
gonna happen to you.
Yep, first night, thunder, rain. So anyway, I'm trying to put up my tent and I have a trekking pole tent. It's one of those Gossamer Gear, and this was this was the worst pitch that tent has ever seen. Because I was just trying to get in the damn thing. I was tired. I was scrambling because of the. Anyway.
It's like sagging.
Oh, it was. Yes, exactly what it was. It was terrible. It was terrible. I woke up and I took a picture of it. I was like, oh my God, dude, this is so embarrassing. but so I thought it was because I slept somewhere maybe in some poison sumac or something like that.
Oh no.
But dude, I dealt with that for 2-3. I mean, I basically dealt with that the whole time. I mean, I had to get a hitch out to Salida or somewhere, or no, BV, Buena Vista. And I mean, it was all up my legs, all up the outside of my legs, ears,
oh no.
I looked like I don't know. It was scary. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I had it all over my thighs and my legs too.
Interesting. And you were wearing shorts.
I was wearing shorts. But it was just like, why is it on my ears? Like, I don't understand. Right. I mean, I can see my hands from just using my trekking poles and legs for sure. But I'm like, it was just, strange spot to have it on the ears.
What is sun poisoning anyway?
I don't know.
It's so interesting.
So who knows? It's a mystery. If anyone has any insight to that.
Truly is. Yeah. Well,
and then I had this cough. Did you have a cough at all? So I ended up getting this, they call it high altitude bronchitis. So from me, I'm pretty much right at sea level, right? So it's come out at sea level, I hit trail at 8,000 feet. Yeah. I didn't adapt. I just literally hopped right on trail. I think it was probably about a week in. I started granted, it was in September, weather was getting cold. You're kind of breathing in and sucking in all this oxygen. It was just I found myself having this cough, and then it wouldn't go away. It was just constant. And when I got home, completely went away.
Oh,
and I remember Googling it and researching it. And it was I guess there's some sort of high altitude bronchitis that you can get when you're at that constant level of altitude. And I'm like, and it's I end up getting fucked up. Oh my God. It was interesting.
No, see, this is what I'm talking about with through hiking. Everybody thinks it's just the best. I mean, it's freaking awesome, right? But but this happens. You sleep in pit toilets. You get, high altitude bronchitis or something, rashes. I mean, that's par for the course. I mean, it truly, truly is. It really is, and you have to be able to get through that stuff. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. In the moment, it's this sucks. This is terrible. But you know what? It is what it is. It's part of trail. It's part of hiking. It's kind of that type 2 fun. It's in the moment, this sucks. Totally. But you look back at it and you just laugh at it. You know what?
Totally.
I survived. And I'm ready to do another trail. So it didn't kill me.
Well, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Because I know you wanted, well, if you guys can see, if you guys are on YouTube right now watching, she's got a framed tray. You know, she did this way more aesthetically than I did. She built the frames
Yeah, you gotta
herself.
level up. You gotta level up.
Yeah, I need to level up. So that looks way better than I just tacked mine to the wall. But so she's got three different trails in the back there. Do you turn 30 this year? Okay, what, in like September or something?
Yeah.
Must be. Yeah. So, and you said that you were planning something, right? Because 30 is an interesting age, right? Like I'm 31, and when I turn 30, but see, my birthday's in December, so you can't really. What are you gonna do?
Right.
I mean, again, you're in the winter. You know, now that I talk to you, I'm like, maybe I will get a pass. But
yes, you should.
Yeah, but 30 is an interesting age. It's a very interesting age. So, what is it that you have planned, or?
No, this is even better. Well, okay, it's not even better. It's like, so I have had this goal and this dream to hike the Tour de Mont Blanc.
Hell yeah.
So I'm heading to Europe, and Kristen and I are going to do the Tour de Mont Blanc for 2 weeks.
Let's go, Jamie.
So, I know. Dirty 30. I'm like, you know what? Like, I am, not to say that like my 20s haven't been great. Like the last 5 years, like I said, I've been in the outdoors and hiking and everything possible. But I'm like, you know what? I'm ready for this next chapter, and I'm going to go off and do this hike that I've been wanting to do for the last 10 years. And so, yeah, we booked flights in, gosh, when was that? Back in March. So once you kind of book the plane tickets, it's like, all right, it's official. We're just going to go do it. And
Right.
But my only hesitation with international hiking is I know once I start doing it, I'm not going to stop. So it's like, so I'm kind of opening up that door of what other countries have to offer, and this hike and that hike. And maybe I just won't come home. I don't know. Maybe I'll just start traveling and hiking all these crazy mountains in different territory. And so anyways, Tour de Mont Blanc in September. So I'm super excited. I know.
Got it. I can't wait to see that on the old gram. That is going to be sweet.
So we don't really have an exact itinerary because once again, with through hiking, I'm like, I just want to wing it. I don't want to have a set plan. I just want to show up and go day by day. So we do have a nice little layover in Iceland. So we're going to hang out in Iceland for a day, and then we'll hop over and start the Tour de Mont Blanc.
See, now this is we'll keep this in the podcast, right? Yeah.
yeah, you can keep this in.
Okay. So, but here's what I love about that too, is a lot of people, not in my friend group, because I don't allow friends like this really, but a lot of people when they turn 30, they think their life's over. And I went through a little bit of that when I was in 30, or when I was first turning 30, but for a day. And I was like, dude, I feel better than I did at 21. I'm in way better shape than I was. What am I talking about? And then just surrounding people that are 34, 35, 40s, 50s that are crushing. And one of the things I always do is ask people at the gym when they're older and I see that they're in good shape. I'm like, what's the secret? And they're like, consistency. And so I'm super stoked that you plan something super cool for your 30th. Rather than, I'm just going to sit home and have birthday cake or something like that. You're going to do something epic.
Go out to dinner to celebrate. That's basic. I'm not basic. Go off and do something and celebrate and kick off my 30s. So and it's nice because with my work, my boss generally takes those first 2 weeks off in September. So it's kind of I always know I get the time off for my birthday. So it's just a matter of, all right, I got 2 weeks. What can I do in 2 weeks? Also back to the Colorado Trail. It's that first, I was able to get those first 3 weeks off in September. So it's just kind of really utilizing my vacation time and trying to be okay, what can I do on the weekends versus what can I do with these long, extended periods of time and take full advantage of it.
Now, okay. So here's something that's funny. I have a mountain guide buddy that lives up in Snoqualmie. Actually, he lives in Bothell. And we were talking about people should not have weddings in the summer, because if I'm
No.
using my vacation time I'm not using it on a wedding to fly back to my home state of Wisconsin to go to your wedding. I'm not going to do it. I've never have done it since I've moved out here. Never one time. Actually, one time I did, but that was like kind of when I was still in like my drinking phase or whatever. Yeah. But never will I do it anymore. I'm like, you guys are nuts. You're not doing a wedding in August. Prime hiking season. Like, sorry, dude.
Right.
You know, I have buddies back home. And man, I'll tell them to come out. Oh, I got this wedding and this bachelor. I'm like, really, dude?
That sounds boring.
Really, like, look back on that in 20 years and be like, oh my God, that wedding was the shit, man. Like,
I know.
Now the Tour de Mont Blanc, that is going to be something that you can look back on and be like, yes, that was a good use of my vacation time.
I know. And for me, it's like, you know, it's funny. I have a lot of like my close friends. They're like, oh, hey, I have this going on, but you'll probably be out hiking somewhere. Yep. I'm like, yeah, probably. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm anywhere from like June to September, every single weekend, just assume I'm gone, because any chance I get, I'm running.
Right.
I'm not staying home for that baby shower. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll FaceTime you from the mountaintop.
Right. Exactly. No, totally my mentality. Oh gosh. Well,
yeah, I know. I've already thought about, like, I have a few friends that will probably more than likely be getting married next year. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get off trail for that. Like, you know, just having those like tough conversations in a sense of like, okay, when you're on trail, you're also budgeting, right? So it's like, okay, the money that I need to live off of, am I really going to spend it on a plane ticket? Or so I don't know. It's a hard balance between like being on trail and back in normal life when people are getting married and this and that. And it's like, once again, I don't know if I really want to spend money on that. I love you, but it's not worth getting off trail for.
I think you said it perfectly. You're not basic. So like, you're going to probably just stay on trail, like exactly like I would, and be like, you know what? Yeah. Screw the way.
They wouldn't expect anything less from me. It's like, dude, if I could be there, I would, but sorry, you know me, you know my lifestyle. Like, this is where I'm at. So
it's like, even if you went, you're not going to have that good of it. You're like, you're going to be kind of miserable.
Do you have like this? Like, I feel like for me, sometimes when I get in like big groups or social settings, it's like, I'm just going to sit over in the corner. Like, I don't know. I never really had like social anxiety, but sometimes when I get in big groups or like crowds, it's like, I'd rather be in the woods by myself. And so sometimes I find myself like that when I'm at weddings or gatherings or whatever it might be. It's like,
I get that.
I am having a good time, but it's like, I'd rather be somewhere else outside.
I mean, and it's like, it's just kind of the fact that they don't really, other people don't have that perspective on life too sometimes. No, so it's like, they
don't understand it. They don't get it. And
it's hard to relate sometimes. Yeah. I have been, it is one of the things though that I'm working on. Cause like, I've realized that, so for me, like, cause I'm single too, right? So I went out to I didn't drink, but I went out to the bar last couple of weekends. These 22. Well, I only know like 3 people in freaking Laramie, so I go out with them, and like, I feel so weird. I have never felt more weird. I mean, and I'm just
deer in the headlights. So like, how do I react right now?
I don't even know. And it was weird because like the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, God, I just want to go home and go to sleep, wake up early, go for a run, like work on my business. Like, I'm just in a different like state of life or whatever. But so I was thinking, I was like, okay, I need to go to networking events, social media events. There's, you know, these GoPro games and in Denver and stuff. Like, that's where I can probably meet people and have fun. But they're in at least a similar, maybe they're not thru hikers or whatever, but it's like they have a similar mentality.
Right. So you have a lot more in common and things to talk about versus some random person at the bar that doesn't give a shit what you're saying.
No, and if they're there on a Friday night, you know, it's sure as hell that they're not going to be backpacking Saturday, Sunday. So it's like, why would I try to meet somebody here?
Right.
I probably try to meet them on a trail or something. Like,
not my scene.
Yeah. So anyway, well, dude, Jamie, this has been great.
So much fun.
I had a lot of fun with this one. You crushed your first ever podcast. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely crushed it. So where can people find you on your socials?
Jamie Lambert. Plain and simple.
Is that it? Is that there's no
Yep.
underscore? There's nothing?
Oh, it's underscore Jamie Lambert underscore.
Oh, see, there you go. You got
basic.
Yeah, you got to be something like Chattahoochee or something. I'm just kidding.
I know.
I don't even know.
Such a great name.
Yeah. It's like a college weird name, but yeah. Anyway,
whatever.
So, yeah,
it sticks.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, definitely follow Jamie. I'm going to leave that in the show notes. She's always uploading some cool things. We'll have you on next time because we didn't get to talk about the stand-up paddleboarding.
Oh,
so
that's coming up in October.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm doing it again. But yes, we'll come back around to that.
We'll get another good report.